Yesterday, when the storm came through, you'd think that it was only Wellington and maybe sort of the northern parts of Christchurch that were affected. But in actual fact, the region that was most affected was Southland. They got 40% of all of the emergency calls of New Zealand yesterday to do with that storm front. 40% of them were actually in Southland, and the bulk of those actually in Invercargill. My wife, and the real reason I know, is nothing to do with the media at all. It's just that my wife was driving to a funeral in Gore yesterday and came home last night with a horror story about the trucks, the trees, the stones hitting the car, travelling in a convoy at 20 kilometres an hour, and being unable to see anything in front of them as they were being buffeted. And she's in a large four-wheel drive, being buffeted by winds, and she wasn't sure if it hadn't been for the fact that there was a funeral and quite an important one for at least her side of the family, she would have just stopped and stayed on the side of the road as all the trucks were. And she saw overturned trucks, and she said it was like a hurricane. I was driving into a hurricane. Well, that was an experience of a large number of people yesterday in Southland and Gore. They went through that media coverage of bugger all. But as of this morning, still large tranches of people without power, as I'm being or reminded of this morning. And we've gone to go and talk to the Mayor of Gore, newly elected Mayor of Gore, and this time with a substantial majority. It's not 3 or whatever it was. And that is Ben Bell, and he joins us now. Ben, welcome to the show. Nice to have you on again, and congratulations upon being re-elected too.
Good morning, and thank you very much. And congratulations to yourself as well.
Oh, well, that was, yeah, thanks, mate, but it's not as important as your job because you've been in the midst of it over the last 24 hours. How are things at the moment for your region?
Yeah, definitely an interesting first day back in the office. We're okay at the moment. Sun's shining, the wind has died right down, which is really good. Big cleanup job on our hands though. There's a lot of some contractors out there at the moment helping out people on farm, just clearing off trees and debris so that milk tankers can get in. Power's still out in a number of places. Water treatment plants still on backup generators. Hopefully that will be on any moment now. But basically just a really big cleanup job.
Sorry, if your wastewater treatment plant isn't working, does that mean you can flush your toilets and things like that?
Oh, sorry, water treatment plant. So wastewater treatment plant
Oh, water treatment
is all
plant.
good.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
water treatment plant. Sorry, my bad. Yes. But they're on backup generators anyway for the
Oh,
water
right.
treatment plant.
So the
So
water's
yeah,
still
and
coming
there's
out of the
been
taps.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay. But you've got large trenches of Southland that are still without power. Where are those areas? Are you aware?
It's really spotty around the place, and it's really hard to tell where the power's actually out. PowerNet basically did a blanket, it'll be fixed by 1 o'clock the next day, because they're just dealing with priority areas as the easier jobs. For us, we're hoping that they pick up the power lines off roads first. That means that our teams can get in there and remove trees, and we can reopen those roads. That's the primary concern for us at the moment.
Yes, as I said yesterday, my wife drove right into the middle of that and said she was terrified in actual fact to her words, and she said a large number of folk were who are in the midst of it. Um, I've taken a fair bit of damage around your district this morning.
Yes, yep. We've got trees down all over the place. We had a tree come down, and as it did, ripped up a water main. So there's a whole street that's been without water. Lots of trees. I'm just thankful nobody got injured. There's property that's been damaged, roofs that have been blown off, trees that have gone through windows. It's pretty horrific. I know it's a lot worse in Invercargill and other areas of Southland, but hopefully we're now through the worst of it.
Um, in terms of local knowledge, how bad was the storm compared to others you've had in the past?
It was a bit of a weird event, to be honest, because it was, like your wife was saying, very, very quick and sudden and very forceful. We probably at the same time that your wife was driving, we were watching it out the window, and it was about 10 minutes of just this extreme wind that caused most of the damage, and then just consistent battering after that. Where does it rank? It's like I said, it's a weird event. We're used to flooding here, so it was very quick, but the recovery will be quite long to
Yeah,
clean up,
okay.
really.
And do you need to offer any emergency support to the people that don't have power or water? Is that your job as well?
Yeah, so under our civil defence responsibilities, we do. So if people can contact welfare at southlandcd.nz if they have any needs, and that's for all of Southland, and they'll get in touch and sort that out. That includes, I know that there are a number of people who needed accommodation in Invercargill, a couple up here as well, and also with power being off, freezers have gone off. There's a whole lot of food that'll need to be dumped and things as well. So it's just what that recovery is beginning to look like.
Um, and just that on that, the water treatment plant staff had, it's been reported in the paper that had been unable to get to the water treatment plant to turn the emergency generators on.
hmm
Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. So that was just for the Matoda water treatment plant, because
Right.
State Highway 1 was closed. The team couldn't get out there to turn it on. But there's a big reservoir out there, so there's a long period of time that water will keep coming out before we run into serious issues.
So they still got water in Matara.
Yes, yep, yep. That's all.
Yep.
That's all powered up now. Power came back on about 5 o'clock last night, so cross was averted there.
Listen, okay, so that's an immediate crisis that you've had to deal with, got on. I mean, and that's just the nature of the beast, I'm afraid. I'm also interested, just quickly, you've got a much more a wider threat just quietly at the moment. As I understand, there is a proposal that's gone to the local government commission and to do with amalgamation in Southland between you and the Southland District Council. Um, are you guys in favour of that or not?
I need to get the views of my new council, but personally, I'm not. Only based on the fact that I think that the proposal needs to be a lot wider scope than it currently is.
You mean
We've had
all of
no costs.
Southland?
So we're a rural town. We share a lot of services with Clutha as well. So why we can't go across regional boundaries is beyond me. That seems to be an opinion of Southland District Council. But I think if you were looking at an amalgamation of Plunket, Gore, and Southland, it might make more sense. I think splitting the regional council in two and creating two unitary authorities seems like more pain than it's worth, to be completely honest. At the end of the day, I want to see some financials. All I've heard is a whole bunch of made-up numbers. Until I see real hard facts, I'm not really going to be in support of anything.
But nonetheless, the local government commission is now in the early stages of an investigation into the amalgamation proposal.
hmm
They're obviously talking, they're going through that public consultation phase at the moment.
Yeah.
And then if they make a final decision, and they're quite keen on amalgamations, can I just say,
hmm
their recent past, they then what, give that to every one of your councils to vote on if it gets that far, is that right?